Today we're going to take a look at the Euro Japanese Yen, purely because this is a textbook stop hunt, and I've had a few questions as to why does a stop hunt occur and how can you spot that a stop hunt will occur. So we're out here on the monthly on the Euro Japanese Yen, and I'm going to start on the monthly. I'm going to work my way in just to paint the picture of what we're trying to achieve. So you can see here we've had this big reversal candle and a bullish monthly, and then we've had this last month we had a bit of wickage to the top, a bit of wickage to the bottom, failed to close below the wick low of the previous month, and we failed to break above it, but we do have some wick action below and above. Doesn't really tell us a great deal there. This month we started to dip a little bit lower, but then we've started to push higher. So let's drop down to the weekly. Actually, just on the monthly, you can see here that there is a fair bit of room to give if we are to push to the top, even if we just draw a couple of little boxes here to denote potentially where we might go. So let's drop down to the weekly. Looks a little bit cleaner on the weekly. You can see this big reversal and then this kind of attempt to push up, bullish run, a little bit of a push back down, and then for the last couple of weeks we've had this bullish run here. Now this week we're obviously not interested in. Last week is really the trade we want to talk about, which is this candle right here. So let's drop down to the daily. And once again, we've had a push up, failed attempt at the push of the highs, a drop back down, nice little pin bar on the daily, and then we started to push back up. Now you can see here, if we zoom in a little bit, you may be able to see it a little bit better, but you can see here is we kind of went sideways. Now it looks very inconspicuous on the daily, but this in fact is consolidation. We have this doji here, which by most people's standards is indecision, but just take a look where that tail is, where it's pointing. So we've pushed through and we've pushed back up, or indeed we might have started at the top, we indeed pushed to the top, pushed back south, and then we've kind of closed with this doji. This in fact here is a stop hunt. So let's push down to the 240, and you can see it much more clearly here. We've pushed up and we've had this consolidation, we've had this push back down, and then we've had this big rally to the upside. So let's push immediately to the 15 and let's just dissect this and have a quick look at it. It really is a textbook case of what a stop hunt is. So you've had this push off the low here. I'll zoom in a moment. You've had this push off the low here. Obviously if you're looking to chase it long, that's not a bad shout for stops. Ideally you'd be behind here, and then we've pushed up with this strong bullish move right here, and another one here, and then all we've done is really go sideways. So we've been channeling here for quite some time, and this has taken some time to build. If we look at it, we really hit the top of this channel sort of the 3rd of April, and then we've just really been bouncing up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, and it's a good 7 days. In fact, yeah, 7 days until we get this pop below. So this right here is the stop hunt. You've got all the traders trying to chase this long. They've seen this bullish move here and they're trying to jump on for a piece of the action. So they're all positioned as close to the action as possible, trying to ride this long. And what you get is, if all of these people below here are buying, then of course all of their stops are sells. Okay, so with that in mind, the banks need what in order to place a big long position? They need sellers, right? Meaning that when they place their stop, the market comes down here, stops them out, their sells. The banks and institutions need sells in order to fill buys, so the market pushes down, takes all of these sellers out, and then what does it do? Rallies to the upside. Now there is something else involved in here. You've got what? You've got the breakout traders. So when this level breaks, you've got all the breakout traders that are selling. So they're willing sellers. Where are their stops? Their stops are probably up here, above this level, above kind of these little clusters here. So again, when the market reverses, it collects all of these buys and that accelerates the market. What else have you got? You've got all the sell stops. You've got all the sellers up here, which are buyers. Their stops are buying. If they're selling at the top, they're putting stops above here in case the market stops them out. Again, you can see this acceleration here. This is a A1 classic example. You get this break above and then you get this little kind of tired push, but once these stops are collected, you get this big acceleration to the upside. Boom. So we see that twice. You get this acceleration here and then you get this acceleration here. So how did I know this was going to happen? Well, you don't know precisely that a stop hunt is going to occur. You need to read the market. You need to understand where all the other traders are positioned in order to position yourself. And then you need to look for subtle hints and clues that the market is reversing. I.e. this little cluster where we failed to really break into any really new lows and we just kind of consolidated and then pushed up from there. Also, if we just draw a line on there and then we look to the left, what does that tell us? Perhaps let's jump out to the 60. Yeah, pretty good little level. You can see it's held these price highs, lows, got all these wicks, some price highs, some price highs. Yes, we breached it here, big deal. We've got some wicks here and again here. So that's all you're looking for. Yeah, this nice little key area of support resistance that has held up so many times in the past. I mean, just look at it, so many times, so many times. And that's the key. Finding an area the market is going to turn from. Now that's quite a big, scary, big, scary, bearish candle. So you really have to understand the market flow and what the market's doing. And this is really a textbook stop hunt where you've got an awful lot of retail traders positioned just below where all the main action is happening. And then you've got the big boys, the institutions and banks wanting to drive it higher. They need some liquidity in order to fill their buys, so they need sellers, and that's what they've done. They've pushed the market down, they've taken out all the stops, they've turned the sells into buys, and the market has rallied. Obviously, once we've breached this top, then we've continued to accelerate. Okay, it's turned down now, but this may just be retesting this top. We don't know. But if we measure that, dropping down to the 15, now obviously there might be some underlying factors here, some other odds enhancers that you can look at in order to validate your trade. But if you got in at the bottom or got in at a turn, or even this bullish candle here, or you could wait until it pushes back inside and retests from here. But either way, it's still an exceptional trade. Let's take the most conservative approach, which is a push back inside the level and a retest. So you took this little 15-minute candle here, you would position yourself below the low. One thing worth bearing in mind, you can position yourself below the last structure. It all depends what type of trader you are, whether you want to try and pick off at the lows or whether you'd like to play it safe and position yourself below the last structure. That is something that you will have to test, something you will have to master. That all comes down to what type of trader you are and what you need. Like I said, this is a very conservative entry. Personally, I got in quite low down here, but if you're the conservative confirmation type, then you would want to wait for some confirmation that the trade is going to play out. And if we take it to the top here, yes, it did drop off. Oh, whoops. Yes, it did drop off, but we also got another retest here, so I would consider that a valid exit. And even on a conservative entry, you're at a 4.2 to 1. So it's 168 points, give or take. If you didn't get out there and you waited on a higher time frame, yeah, maybe you took 3.5. Maybe you're still in it. Maybe you took a position off here. That's another thing. You need to understand what type of trader you are, whether you're going to take multiple positions, whether you're going to exit a position, roll your stops, allow a position to run, whether you're just aiming for higher targets. These are all of the things that you need to understand before you start trading this type of strategy. These can hit the top and fail. These can run 300, 500, 1,000 pips. It all depends on the setup, the time frame, the fundamentals, even the pair that you're trading. All these factors come into play, and you need to understand each and every one of them to a good degree. So even if you got in very aggressive, if you were just on a limit order for a touch of retest of this, and your stop was, again, maybe you positioned yourself with a limit below this little bit of structure and you were pushing for that top, then you 4.8 back up to these highs here. Great little trade. Just drag that box across. It's no wonder we're seeing a bit of a sell-off. You could still be in this trade. You may have taken a position off at the top. You may have taken a position or two positions off here, rolling your stops to break even. You may be letting this position run, in which case you would expect a pullback and then potentially for this to continue. Anyway, traders, I just thought I'd highlight that this really is an A1 setup, very clean, very crisp, very defined. And once you know the order flow, once you know where traders are positioned, very easy to execute this type of trading. This is called a stop hunt, a manipulation, for those of you that are new to the channel. And if you are new to the channel, please hit that like button, please hit that share button, and if you haven't done so, please hit that subscribe button to help me out with the channel. I will continue to provide these free updates and trade analysis as the markets present them. If you've got any questions, please leave them in the description box below. And obviously, as always, trade safe, and I'll see you in the next one.